No, I'm resting upon the fact that my guard is my back. Get stacks of handicaps, keep attacking. Rapping is my passion, backpacking as I travel. Babble source confirm my words along the sides of death. My breath is righteous, I might just force myself to take more action. My capacity is simply seen as rapping. Destroy decisions in each man's given. For living is a sin if your sin is found in living. I find myself torn between the gravitation found in two life sides. Must be picked, I can't stick with one mask. I feel past as an outcast, my days are always late. Hate is in my heart, forcing me to seek out freedom. Leave them whack cats with gangster raps and gas and pop daddy tracks. They can't get hand claps and pets on back. They are deceived the same way Adam was. Tricked by Eve, so I leave. Draw my pimp lip that gets me digits. And you can bet that last line will draw out my critics that don't get it. When it comes to understanding, demanding me to gangbang. Yeah, right.
I spend my days navigating throughout this land, trekking on a product crafted by your hand, distracted by the latest in fashion and brand. Excuses of my awfully short attention span. Travel, throw your hands up, king, snare.
Okay, I trade my body straight, lonely and confused. I sit and contemplation like it's in a Rubik's Cube. I've been diffused, answers come aggressively and the most heavily hosed post. They're all affecting me, you might as well be sweating me. Since my jawbone is a vessel, even though mics are made accessible. Your gibberish is spewing great competition rhythm.